Yeah, so anyway, this is gonna be one of those videos where I may or may not piss a lot of people off if you're sensitive, or I might hit home with what you've been trying to say for a very long time but just never really could, or both. Now I want to address a couple of things that I might not have been able to address as best as I possibly could before, but hopefully this video will clear shit up for you. Now first off, we're going to talk about a friend of mine. A friend of mine in which I believe to be the best wrestler on that roster. Pretty sure he might get in trouble for me talking about him in this light, but I really don't give a shit because somebody has to say it. AC Arthurs of TXW. In my opinion, you can argue this if you want to, I really don't give a shit, is the most talented person on that roster. Everybody else is just not up to par or just has their gimmick stolen from somebody else. Now I don't know how long AC has been in TXW, but apparently it's been too long for him to be in the position that he is in now. I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know what their plans are for him. If I'm going down the wrong path, then please correct me. But when you have somebody on your roster that can do what you want them to do when you want them to do it and how you want them to do it, you give that person the ball and you let them run with it. Because in the end, it forces the person who you did give the ball to step up to that person's level and to perform on that person's level. And in TXW, I don't see anybody else that can do it like AC. I just don't. There is absolutely nothing AC can't do better than the rest of them. And when I say the rest of them, I'm not talking about the rest of the people on that roster. I'm talking about the people who can actually fucking work. And to his credit, his matches are as good as he can possibly make them be. And that's not me saying that his matches are spectacular and they're epic and they're 5-star, 10 out of 10 ridiculous matches, because they're not. I'd be lying if I told you that. It's hard for me to watch his matches in TXW because the people that he's in there with cannot work as good as he can. You can't put people who can't work in matches with people who can work, because it doesn't matter who you have in that match. As long as it's a one-on-one match with somebody who can't work against somebody who can, the match is going to be shit. There's just no way around it. There's nothing that the better worker can do to make a match be 5-star with somebody who can work. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You can't do it. I can't do it. Because it takes two. It takes two people who know what they're doing to get it done. I don't want to sound as if I'm taking away credit from the people on that roster, because they probably do have potential and they probably can be better workers, but I'm not talking about them specifically. I'm talking about AC. I recognize AC as the best worker on that show, and everybody else is just not as good as him in terms of working a match and putting on a show. And that is where the line is drawn in the sand, because in order to work with somebody in a match, everything has to be fucking scripted. And I don't want to hear this bullshit about how you can have a simulated match or you can have a competitive match all in one. You can't do it. Stop trying to brainwash yourself into believing that you can do that shit simultaneously. You cannot do it. It is impossible. If you want a good looking match like you see in the ones on TV where they actually work together to put on that match, then that's what you have to do in the game. You can't say, oh my god, I want to reverse now because you're just beating the shit out of me. You can't do that in a match. You have to work with him, not against him. The guy that you're in a match against, even though you're against him, you're working with him. You're against him on TV, on the screen, on YouTube. You're against him. But behind the scenes, you're working with him. You can't afford to work against the person you're supposed to be working with, because then you sacrifice the deity of that match. You sacrifice the quality of that match. And instead of that match being a 5-star match, it goes down to a 4 or a 3 or a 2. I mean, if I'm not making sense, please let me know. I know you guys like to tell me when I'm not making sense, so please tell me when I'm not making sense. And I'll politely tell you to fuck off. You just can't do it. You can't want to work with somebody and want to work against them at the same time. It's just not going to work. I mean, you have the guys that think that reversing 80 bajillion times a match is cool, and that looks good to them. But do you really see that in a match? So let me ask you a question. On average, how many times a match do you see somebody reverse in a real actual wrestling match? Think about it. How many times do you see somebody reverse a chain grapple in an actual wrestling match? From a lockup state, or a side headlock, or a wrist lock, or a waist lock. How many times do you actually see them reverse in those situations? Early in the match, right? I'll give you that. That shit happens early in the match. And as the match progresses, as the match goes on, they stop reversing each other because that's what you do when the match is supposed to pick up pace. You don't reverse a shitload when the match is supposed to slow down, because that just wouldn't make sense. That's why I personally don't reverse in matches unless I'm supposed to, unless I have to, unless I feel that when I reverse you, I'm going to be in a position to continue the pace of that match. I'm not going to reverse you mid-combo or after your combo, or just, I won't reverse you in a weird moment where after I reverse you, it would just reset the entire pace of the match. I wouldn't do that. That's why in most of my matches I always get my ass beat. It's just about timing and waiting for that moment to reverse. And reversing ain't hard. It's ridiculously easy to reverse online, which is another reason that factors into the competitive and working with situation, just makes it null and void. Because if it's too easy to reverse, then how do you know when not to reverse? If you're one of those people who think that you can play competitively and wrestle at the same time, please tell me, when do you say, okay, I'm going to stop selling? Or okay, I'm going to stop working with him? Or okay, I'm going to say fuck his spot and I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do? When do you say that? And if you're really about to answer that question, stop, because that's a trick question. Because if you're really doing that, then you're doing it wrong. That's not a wrestling match. That's not what you're supposed to do. So AC, if you're watching this video, and I'm pretty sure you are, hi, I hope they give you what you deserve. And I really, really wish that TXW didn't have that one Fed rule, so I could use you. But, you know, c'est la vie. So anyway, I want to talk about this, I don't know what to call it. I don't know if it's a good thing or if it's a bad thing. But the direction it's going in is very complicated to deal with if you're a Fed owner or a league owner. It's very complicated to deal with. And that's the fact that everybody in the CAW community today wants to be that guy. Everybody wants to be the top guy on every show. And the problem with that is that everybody cannot be the top guy. I understand why everybody wants to be the top guy. I'm not knocking that. You should want to be the top guy on whatever show it is that you have. But the reality of the situation is that only one guy can hold that belt. Only one guy can be the person who carries that company or that league or that Fed. Not everybody. The Fed owner should understand that he has to choose that person, and then after that person he has to choose the under person, the mid-card guy, and then after the mid-card guy he has to choose his tag team people, and then maybe his divas. He has to set all of that up in order, and it conflicts with everything underneath the top spot, because everybody just wants to be at that top spot. So he won't have any legitimate tag teams or loyal tag teams. He won't have any legitimate or loyal mid-carders, and he won't have any legitimate loyal, well, I won't say divas, because that's just like a whole different fucking situation. I wish I saw more people who just strictly wanted to be a tag team guy. Or I wish I saw more people who just strictly wanted to be, you know, that goofy character, that Santino type character, or that Gangrel type character. You know, those lower mid-card guys who are only just there to please the crowd, just to make the crowd feel whatever type of way they're supposed to feel, whether it's happy or sad or pissed off. Just those lower card guys. I wish I saw more of those people. So it would make life easier for people like me and for people like whoever's the owner of TXW, and make it easier for Die Hard with the power plant, and just in general for anybody who's making online leagues. Yeah, it sucks being on the lower card. I understand that shit. I was there before. It's not all that great. But when you get good at working matches, when you get good at cutting promos, when you get good at doing whatever the hell it is that they have you stuck doing, then they will have no choice but to move you up, but to push you. Because the people watching this show will get hip to that shit. Just like people are getting hip to AC. AC is the main attraction. Regardless of his position in TXW, he's the main attraction. Because he's good at the position that they have him. He's good at what they want him to be doing. He's good at whatever the hell it is they want him to do. And lately it's been jobbing. He's a pretty damn good jobber. He's a really good jobber. Nobody can lay down on the mat. Nobody. I shit you not. Absolutely nobody can lay down on the mat like AC. Nobody. And I say that with love. But yeah, I'm not asking anybody in the CAW community to do tag team shit. I'm not asking anybody to do jobber shit. I'm just saying that I wish I saw more of it. I wish I saw more diversity in the CAW community. I just don't see it today. But yeah, I want to backtrack to what I was saying about wrestling in a video game. There's just too many intricate details for me or anybody else to try and explain to you in a tutorial video. It's just too much. It's too much. All that selling 101 shit, that's baby steps. It cannot teach you how to be good at wrestling. No video about any wrestling video game can teach you how to be good at doing that shit. And now I'm not saying it's you're either good at it or you're not, because you can learn how to be good at it. I'll give you a prime example. Scott Barnett, who in my opinion is one of the better workers that I've worked with. And if you don't know him, then you've been living under a fucking rock. But when I first met Scott Barnett, I believe it was in 2011, I don't remember actually playing him, but he does. And he told me that when I first played him, I rage quit. And I usually don't rage quit unless you play like shit. So evidently he played like shit. So but now, over the years, he got better. And better and better and better. And now I can go into a match and not say a word to him and have an awesome match. We don't have to have our mics in. We don't have to call spots. The bell rings, we go to work, to the point where he already knows what I want to do when I want to do it, and I already know what he wants to do when he wants to do it. Now that doesn't mean that we always have the same kind of match each and every single time with the same formula. We can mix shit up. It's just that certain things that I know him for doing, I know when he wants to do it, and I know where to be so he can do it. If that makes any sense to you. I know it's probably complicated to understand, but I don't know how else to explain it. The same goes for AC. The same goes for Alexander Monroe. The same goes for Sylvester Inno. The same goes for Ryan Cavallari. The same goes for all of the guys that I play with. As a matter of fact, I won't even say Sylvester Inno, because I've only played Sylvester Inno like 5 times, maybe, one-on-one, or less than that. And when I do play him, we can do the same shit. I don't need to tell him anything. He doesn't need to tell me anything. And of course there's going to be guys who just aren't good at it. No matter how hard you try, you just might not ever be good at it. You might understand the concept, but you might not be good at executing. There's guys who can execute, but they don't know when. All of these little intricate things tie together in a match. And you don't really think about it until you try to explain it to someone like I'm trying to explain it to you now. So yeah, now that I get all that fluff out the way, now I can have fun. So obviously, there is a WWE Games Hall of Fame induction going on, and I gotta say I'm pretty offended that my name's not in there. No, I'm kidding. How do I say this without offending anybody. Cause I really don't want to offend anybody. I don't want to be that guy. I'm just very opinionated, and 9 times out of 10 when I express my opinion, people get pissed off. So I'm gonna try really, really hard to say this as nice as I possibly can. Please tell me that this is just for fun. If you can just honestly say it's just for fun, then I'll just fucking leave it alone. I'll hold hands and sing Kumbaya with you. I'll play along. If it's just for fun, then that's all good. I can give a shit. But if you're really, really doing this as like some type of merit, like it's like really a badge of honor or some shit, come on. Come on. Really? A WWE Games? Oh, come on. Like I said, if it's for fun, then that's all good. I might even fucking participate and throw in some names that I would like to see get inducted. But if it's like for real legit, like you're really trying to have people get awards for some shit that they do on the internet with video games, then I think that's pretty like redundant and it's just weird. I mean, like, I'm not gonna go outside and say, oh my god, Mom, I won a WWE Games Award. Mama slapped the shit out of me. Did you tell me to go to work? Like real work, like my job. I'd be embarrassed to do that. Like, all in all, I hope it's just like for fun. Cause if it's for fun, then yeah. But if it's real, it's just. As a matter of fact, no. I mean, even if it is for fun, we all know who's gonna get inducted and who isn't gonna get inducted. We all can see that coming from miles and miles away. That's just not fair. Like, come on. Like, give guys like Pure Killer Chris a chance. I give guys like frickin' Shane Silver a chance. I don't like Shane Silver, but he does more shit on YouTube than I see half you guys do. Give guys like me a chance. I mean, nobody likes me. If you say that you like me, you're full of shit. You couldn't possibly like me. I'm an asshole. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap this up because I've been talking for a long time and I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing my melodramatic voice. So yeah, I'm gonna let you go. Deuces.